Hello, everybody. This is Henry Lee. I'm doing a live streaming video test in front of a webcam. The difference this time from the previous video is like I tried to set up a device that I can conduct remote workshop or video lessons. You can set up a Skype video call with me, so I can also see your working area and give you personal help. I have just offered this on our website, Blue Heron Arts. You can check that out for the rate right now. We because there's demands in Victoria's calligraphy lesson, so she will show students how to write the Chinese name and some basic stroke, like how to use the brush, and she can also teach you how to write title or inscriptions on your painting. I can teach you anything in my class, or specific topic like mounting. We already got a order for a mounting session. So either dry mounting or wet mounting could be taught in this through the video. It's like a video training to answer your questions and give you specific help. Okay, this testing session, I'm going to do a study of Northern Song style landscape. I have a class on Southern Song, which is the period following this Northern Song dynasty. This original painting was done by Guo Xi, a very famous artist master in Chinese art history. You'll find this painting any Chinese art history book or even cultural general history book on Song Dynasty. It's known as the Monumental landscape. So you have a spectacular view from the foot of the mountain to the peak of the mountain in the same painting. This original painting could be very large, like for a court setting, So they're emperor's inscriptions of the late dynasties. It was originally on silk, I believe, and in ink only, but the silk turns to yellow or brown kind of tan. It's entitled Early Spring. Guo Xi is very famous in not only painting techniques, but also his aesthetic theory on landscape painting. And he has 4 metaphors of landscape painting describing 4 seasons, like the spring mountain is like laughing, happy, smile, and winter mountain is like sleeping, beauty, something like that. I have done previously 2 studies inspired by this painting. This one I did first about 10 days ago, I think. It's a partial copy of this painting, and I changed a little bit the perspective to make the tree larger. I call this early autumn instead of early spring. You can see the color I use. It's known as the amber and indigo, or brown and blue, light brown and indigo painting. 浅酱 in Chinese. There's a specific style. I think it's also very on that, you get this kind of combination, complementary colors. Is very basic in Western watercolor landscape painting too. Brown and ultramarine, that kind of amber and indigo in this case. But I do use a little bit. I used all Western watercolors. I think the brand is Holbein and Daniel Smith. For Daniel Smith, I used this mineral color. I wish you can see the sparkling of it. It's from a natural stone pigment. You can see the sparkling. Yeah, it's very nice. Okay, and this one, another study of the same masterpiece. It's more of a ideal kind of sketch of the original. I wish I haven't done, overdone it. So I started with a very light wash, like the brown. I mean the yellow ochre and the light blue, and to block in the shape of the mountain. And I then added the dark inks. So I followed the Western way of watercolor painting, from light to dark. In this case, try to emphasize on atmosphere. This is it says early spring after Guoxi idea, inspired by Guoxi, and my signature in Los Angeles. So if you like to do a study of landscape, I can show you the steps over the internet. I live in Southern California. We have to work out a schedule. You can indicate your available days, and I will communicate with you after you place your order. You can like have to do a 1 hour session. It's up to you. This painting I started last night a little bit to fit in this small paper. It was much larger, and then I will color it. Maybe I'll do it in what we call the less or small green and blue style. I'll see what it does. So maybe I have the early summer in mind. Okay. The first thing I'm going to do is to color the dark leaves on the pines, maybe with indigo and some ink, maybe. I use Sakura Chinese painting colors. It's a joint venture by a Japanese company in Shanghai. So they said this color is to solve the problem of the other brand, in China, that always dry in the tube. So this one is supposed to last much longer without drying in the tube. I like that idea. But basically, it's the traditional kind of color scheme. It's still the indigo. The name of the color is different than the color hue is still different than Western color, and the binding is still different than watercolor. So it's supposed not to smear when you wet mount it. Okay, so you can also use regular watercolor. That's what I used on the other painting I showed you earlier. And you have to do it in a, when you mount it, you have to do dry mounting, I suppose, because it may smear when you re-wet it. Because the binding material for traditional Chinese painting is gelatin, traditionally. I don't know what exactly they use for this one, the Sakura traditional Chinese color, but it shouldn't smear when you wet mount it. So I paint dark colors wet and dry because that's how you can get the intensity of it. I like overnight ink, you know, it gives a lot of particles. If you can take a closer look, the strokes. So I'm working on these two trees. This is where I started, actually. I've got some ink and indigo. So it's like dark blue-gray. Dry on, I mean, wet and dry will give you more intense color, but the hard edge. And you can use a soft brush if you need to soften it. You know, you can then just kind of soften the edge if you need it. Use a like a Gombi style, you know, cream brush, one charge, one like a spread. Some parts you want to have a very definitive edge, so it shows the focus. So you just my reference cover is here, so you can see it. So you don't have to do it all, you know, wet and dry. You can spread the painting, I mean the paper with some moisture, so it will be much easier. But you want this part to dry. I use my palm to iron it, my body temperature to dry it. Yeah. Okay, I'm going to spread this paper. You know, when I spray, I especially want to wet the white area, the clouds, the sky, the empty space, because if you don't wet these areas, it will smear towards it. That's the principle in water management. If you don't want the color to bleed into the sky area, make sure you wet the sky. So if there's more water in this area, they won't bleed towards there. The color, I mean, the water goes where it's drier, right? Okay, I use a large brush. Just do a atmospheric wash, you may say. Just add some indigo and in the shady area. There's no single light source, so I don't have to worry about where the light comes from. Normally, we call it yang and yin. You know, the yin kind of contrasts the yang. So you put the color in the shady area to make the white part standing out. So if you see, this is the shady area. So this part will pop. To spread a little more. The white part need to be wet. You can wet the whole thing evenly so you can see it better. Because I have more experience to see, you know, when the paper is wet, it appears gray or heavier color than it dry. So you need to have some experience. I'm looking at a mirror image. I'm not sure if you look at the painting the right way. This should be I'm holding brush in my right hand, but it appears on the left. I don't know why. You need to save the white. So I don't use white. Just use the paper. Okay, I think we should use some amber at the same time. So maybe get some brown amber. Amber plus indigo is gray. You don't want to mix them though. You just mix a little bit with whatever the ink or something to soften it. Very light. Okay, I'll do the bottom of the rock with amber. And the light, the yang part, the light part. Some artists would do the amber first, or yellow ochre, you know. Then they apply the indigo on top of it. It will make the color with more depth. I think it's the best if you do one color and let it dry, and then add another color. Color should be very light. Please. Let me show you. This is wet and dry, almost, and then it will become wet. So you can, if you keep adding, it will be wet into wet. You have to save the white for the waterfall. The purpose of study ancient painting is to learn the strokes, but also the perspective, how they create their landscape. It's more like imaginative viewpoint. You imagine you fly in the sky like a bird's eye view. You move your eye level from bottom all the way mountain foot, all the way to the peak. It's called the high perspective, high distance. Um, and the waterfall will add to the height to bring out the height. Also, if you want mountain high, leave clouds in. Actually, I don't have much room, so I missed that. So as you can see, this area is a cloud to make the peak even higher. I can make it more like in the mist. I think the mountain in the distance should be less amber or cooler, you might call it. So it's a little warmer in the front, more blue in the back. This part is shitty part. Your brush could be dry and wet. So wet onto wet, but the brush is thirsty, so you will not spread too much. Well, I have to be very gentle when we paint on wet paper. It will, although the mulberry paper #1, which I'm using, is very sturdy. But if you keep rubbing it, it will uh, get fuzzy. So a little bit is fine, create nice texture, but not, when you see that, just stop and wait it drier to do it. You'll notice uh, the stroke when I outline the mountain. It's heavier on top and loose uh, under, so it creates the hanging effect. Like solid on the on the top and very misty in the bottom. So you have to keep that. So the pressure is different when you draw this. Okay, the trunk of the pine tree could be a little brown. You can add more texture later when it's dry. Just be a little bit brown for now. The color should not surpass the ink. Uh, so it's a complement to the ink. The front could be a little darker, I think. You use shading this way to make one part pop up. You shade the surrounding part or the back of it. Too much color, just add some ink. It You can find a copy on Google if you search the artist's name Guo Xi. You can find a color copy of this masterpiece. Okay, I'll let it dry and we'll decide what to do next. I will use a hair dryer to blow it. To make the mountain look misty, you just spray the whole painting like I did earlier, and then it's very easy to create soft washes. Let me wash the water before I dry it. So my soft super wash brush is kind of thirsty, but the paper is wet. So you can mist effect. We tighter distance, like this. So I purposely leave some part with flying white and it shows dryness, more texture in the foreground. That's and we'll do an overall harmonizing wash if needed later. You can use kind of yellow ochre, kind of light brown, and light amber to unify the whole thing with just make it look older, like ancient paper. I think we might just do that right now on the white space, maybe. So clean the brush and just use a little. Let's see what we have. This color palette has all 24 colors. We have the stone yellow. I think it's kind of like a ochre. Let's see what it looks like. Yeah. Well, we have to mix a little bit with the amber. You know what? The best color I like is the gold. You can use gold, so we'll make it a little bit metallic. Let's see. Why just experiment? I need to make it look old, so not too shiny. This might work. Let's do and the mountain area first, see what it look like. So I just washed the empty space with this mixture of yellow ochre kind of, and the amber, some gold, and some leftover blue, I think. Okay, let me just go for it, I think. It's a little bit experimental. I'm not sure if it will look right. Let me just test it one more time. I think this should be okay. So I just wash this mountain with this color, and you can still use a blend brush to soften. It will be very light in the empty area, but still have some color there. So I just see there's a small fault there, maybe. Just keep that. So this served as a unifying wash. I will do a glaze kind of on all the rocks and even the trees. I love that gold color in it, make it shiny. This sakura color is available on our website. If you want to try it, you can buy the gold individually. Okay, you see that color smear happens because the paper is drier now outside the rock. So I can drive this back by spread more water on the sky, so you will bleed back. Another way is just make the whole painting like in the same color, so it will not be a problem, I think. So we just make it the painting looks like antique paper. Oops, see that the overnight ink may start to bleed as well when you wet it. So just be careful, when you brush over that part. So you can use a clean brush to do the area you want to keep it white. I really don't want the pure white. I just want to have a lighter color here. So you blend into the background. make it very subtle. You may notice the stroke is horizontal when I wash the background. That gives the perspective, the flat perspective. Well, some extra moisture will be taken by the felt. So you see some colors that won't leave any. I wish it would not create a dark spot. See, there's no problem. Okay, I should have made more this color, so I don't run out of it. I have to remake it. Mix of the three colors: the yellow, ochre, the gold, and the brown, the amber, and some indigo. Or just ink. Oops, it makes green. I don't know what color it is now. Okay, I cannot recreate that. That's a lesson. You have to make the same color, plenty of it. So I just leave this area, the water space, this land, it should be warmer. That's it, I think. Whoops. I should wait it dry, maybe. Just a little bit color to echo the other part. The golden, yellow, brown kind of thing. This has no form, no shape. So just soft everywhere. Okay, I'll have to let it dry, I think. Sorry for the noise. I got a question from Jim. What kind of paper are you using? This is a mulberry paper, number one. Blue Heron Arts, our web store. We numbered the mulberry paper. This one has no stringing fiber in it. Number two has the long fiber in it. If you want the same paper, by Blue Heron Arts, mulberry number one. Okay, now what do you think? Do I need to make it to look more like summer? I can add green to it. See how that look. Okay, let me try this. So we will use a transparent green. We don't have transparent green in Chinese traditional colors, but we mix them like the gamboge and indigo to get transparent green. So we just use this to get that green. You can add a little bit ink just to make it not too strong. So I can use this color to wash the lighted part. Actually, you can wet the painting again, but I try to keep the sense of painting, not just soft washes. So you can still paint it with a stroke. So I just do it on halfly. It's still damp, not completely dry paper. Now I change the season now. I think I'm going to do this early summer kind of look. It could be spring, whatever, because the leaves still very bare. I think, okay. So you apply transparent color before you do opaque. Finally, I will do opaque blue and the green. And this dry soften it with the same brush, or you can use the clean brush. Okay, it should be more blue in the distance. That's yellow. The shady part also more blue. Top of the mountain with vegetation. With some greens. Okay. Just experiment. See what happens. So this is a light green wash as preparation for the opaque green and blue. If we decide to go further, we'll do that. You can highlight the trees and darks later. Okay, we have to dry it before we continue. We need to use the hair dryer. Let me see if we need to add anything here. Okay, now I've done the transparent green as preparation for the opaque colors. Now I have the opaque color, the blue, and you can also mix some green with it. It's just, let me take a space for it. Let me just get this off. Okay, this is the green, and you can also get some blue. Okay, if you have taken my online class, you have the option to do it on the back side of the paper, right? This is the advantage of Chinese painting on rice paper, mulberry paper, because you can paint on both sides. The reason we do that is because if you use opaque color like a gouache, on the front, it will cover the ink. You already see it's happening right now. The color, I think the brown color is semi-opaque with a yellow ochre and some gold that covers. So make it. I can bring those lines back in the end of the painting, but before that, I will add more colors. So if I add more color on the front, it might cover more the outline, so it will destroy the effect you got. So I will do it on the back. This is a was taught in my lesson 4 on video class and DVD you can buy. This is the same technique. So I mix a little bit in blue and green colors. Show you, you can see that. Okay, and you can mix any other color, just make it neutral. I mean muted. You can add a little indigo, maybe something like that. And you can apply very heavy colors. This paper is semi-transparent. You can see the color from the backside is kind of weak. Right? This is same thing. If you paint like this on the front, it will look like that. And it will cover the ink, right? But if it's since it's on the back, it won't really show that much through. So we need almost like a pure color from the tube. Let's just do another one. Well, if you cannot see, you can wet the painting. You will see better. But that way, the color loses its intensity. So I just estimate. You should wait. You should leave some shady area unpainted, so it will show through the brown. Right. So let me just complete this. Okay, I think let's just see how it works before I continue. So this is the back, and this is the front. You will not really see the final effect because it would become lighter, and you can still paint on the front to highlight, just like if you want to really highlight it, you can do a little bit on the front. That will really pop it up, So you can do on both sides. You can also do the umber on the other side as well, because umber is semi-opaque, you might say. So you will cover. You see this is very strong umber, right? So you can just use it on the back as well. I use some more blue on this block, just make a little bit different. The shady part should be less opaque. Get some more. You see my brush is really dry. This is another way to get soft edges or soft colored washes. Dry wash, you may call it. Okay, let's see what we got. Just a little hint of mineral colors, and we can apply more accurate highlight colors with opaque directly. You can see that will cover. it's very easy to get lost overdoing it. So try to keep the color as the guest. You know, the ink still dominate. If you overdo it, it will become too, you know, shadow the ink effect. Let's see. This will be much lighter because it's on the back and it's still wet. You cannot really see them. Oops. Overdoing it. You can always wet the paper to soften the color. You can blot it if you will. So that's about it. I'll add the highlights, reinstatement, maybe some of the contours lost in the wash after it dries. Meanwhile, we can add little details like little figures and boats. Here's a boat, I think. Well, the travelers like boarding the boat and maybe saying goodbye with friends. And someone on a donkey or a horse. Just very suggestively. Okay, let me try it first. So we can take let me see, do we need more color on the top? I think it needs to be a little balanced. Just add a little. We really don't worry about the realistic, sense, like a real landscape. It's like my miniature landscape on the paper, a bonsai, in the pot. Um, it's an imaginative word. And everything has to be in the original proportion, so I don't paint the tree like this big in the foreground, and there's no foreground. Everything in the original proportion is very important. The true proportion, the truth, not the distorted view of a landscape painting in the scientific sense. If you paint that, you just use a camera, right? So it's a spiritual landscape where you can travel, you can stay. There's a temple you can visit, stay here, a mountain dwelling. So a good landscape is not only to view, appreciate the view, the scenery, but also you have paths to lead your viewer into it, and a place for the viewer to stay spiritually. That's the philosophy behind traditional Chinese landscape. Its heydays in the Northern Song, and among all the Northern Song masters, Guo Xi, this painting is after him, Guo Xi. I put this in the title already. Guo, Guo Xi. If you search this on Google, you'll find it. And you should find this painting called Early Spring. I'm not sure it's the early spring, but if I got the plums, you might. So that's I think we just keep it the same season without changing it into summer or winter or something. So I will dot the tree, the plum in it, indicate the like peach blossom, if you will. So I use a little bit rouge to wash the tree. Let me just get space for this color. Early spring, this may be fourth bloom. Just the spring. So I dot the plum with rouge first, and then I will dot with some white. They're very sparse. The peach is very dense, so sparse for the plum. This kind of tree is known as the bird's claw branches. It's like a bird's claws or crab claw. The kind of contour style is known as the rolling clouds. It's the shape of the mountain is like the cloud head of a thunder before thunderstorm, that kind of formation. Goshi is very famous with these two: the birds, cloud, branches, and the thunderhead mountain. There's no color in the original Goshi masterpiece. I just want to show you different varieties. I've done earlier the uh, color without the mineral, the opaque. This is very traditional in the period of the Song and Tang Dynasty, the earlier period, earlier than the Song. It's more green and blue landscape. It's very decorative, so to speak. Okay, I'm going to add just a touch of white flowers to highlight it, I think. Yeah, let me hold the detail here. Show you what we have. You can see the early plum of peach blossom. Okay. Okay, I got some discussion going on Chinese language study. Don't study Cantonese because Cantonese can understand Mandarin as well. So don't study the dialects. Study Mandarin, which is the official pronunciation of Chinese. We have the same written language, but Cantonese is difficult to understand, even for me. Mandarin is more useful because every every young people in Canton they can speak Mandarin. By the way, my wife is a language teacher who taught Chinese as a second language in university and colleges here in the States, and she's available to give you tutoring over the internet like this. It will be so she can see your face and teach you pronunciation. Uh, she teach Mandarin only. Okay. Okay, I'm going to add some details while we talk. Thank you, Steve. Okay, I just take some white directly from the tubes. Okay, no dilution, no water. So it's a very so you will cover the ink, the color underneath. Give it some flowers. You will add some more dimension to it. This color is a new Chinese color made by a Japanese Chinese joint venture in Shanghai. It's called the Sakura traditional Chinese painting color, not the watercolor. Okay, but they don't dry easily like the other brand, the old brand in Shanghai. It dries always. So I try to find some alternative to that. If you don't like the traditional tube color, which is dry, turn hard, this one won't dry, but it's a little different. It feels a little more like watercolor maybe, but it's not. It won't not bleed. It will not bleed when you wet mount it. Supposedly, it's different binding material than the watercolor, sakura watercolor. Okay, I think about it. You can do the reinstatement on this missing outlines or contours. Um, just let it dry. I think then I use a small whistle brush or a happy dot or something stiff brush with hair wolf hair brush, and you can redo some of the outlines that might be weak now after the wash. So let's see what's here. This shape like a cloud, so it's rounded contour, like the cloud heads of a storm. It's still wet, but it's okay. I just add some definition to it. And the last step would be dot. There not much, in later period, we've got lots of mass dots. Mass, MOSS, stands for tree bushes in the landscape painting. And you can apply it at the last. So line first, color, ink and the color wash, and then dot. That's the process. The ink I use is from the ink cake. So it's a very pastel kind of texture with lots of particles. I like that feel. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. So give a little color to the figure. I think about the face. I wish it's too small, so don't worry about that. Just a suggestion. Two people are saying goodbye, and this guy is on a donkey. Just give a proportion of the scale, of the landscape. The people should be small. In principle, the tree should be smaller than the mountain. People is like a bee size, and then the house is bigger than the figure. So it's all in the original proportion. We don't supposed to paint the elusive camera kind of view. You have so-called foreground that block the view of your landscape painting, a big tree, something. So this is the lesson I try to teach. If you want, you can join me the online class. You will learn all these tricks in the pre-recorded lessons. And if you like, you can set up a live video call. I use a program called the Skype. It's already installed on your Windows. I think there's also a Mac version. So I can see you, your working area, while we doing this kind of lesson. So do check it out. I'll put a link in the video description so you can book your video lessons. Okay, I think better to stop before I keep overdoing this. As you can see, the heaviest part is in the foreground, but it's still not, too big, like many of you tend to do. In my class, they tend to do the tree too big. So just keep it in the midground, maybe. Push the foreground back to the middle ground. I think, yeah, after all dry, I can dot some, mask dots. You can also dot that with this very thick. Let me show you the ink I got. It's from a leftover, from the ink cake. So it's like a piece of ink cake I got here in my stone. So it's very heavy. It's like a paste. Can you see it? So you will not bleed even on wet paper. I can show you. You will stand where they are. You see, it will not spread that much as the bottled ink. It's a very heavy ink paste. So dot is to kind of help make the dark part define, help to define the shape of the rock. So I just create more depth and cover mistakes. Sometimes you can use add rhythm, the dance, and sparse. You add dots to the dance part. To the dance part. This is the dance part, right? To squeeze out the light. I got a call in the door. Okay. I'm going to sign and take a final picture, post it on my Facebook. Again, I thank everybody for watching, and I hope to see you soon. Again, okay.